Hello AP World, welcome to the first flip video of the year. Today we're going to talk about migrations. I'll have this map as a quick introduction and then get into the next couple slides that have content. I want to define a couple terms first that will help us talk about migrations. The first one is cultural diffusion, and cultural diffusion is the dissemination, the expansion, the sharing of information within a society. It could be trade, could be cultural traditions, religions, and migrations help to facilitate cultural diffusion. As people move across the world, they're able to share things that they've developed, technologies that they've developed, and information about their society. This is immensely helpful for the study of AP World History because it allows us to see the interactions, especially the long-distance interactions between peoples. The second term to define is big geography, and big geography is the term used to study the history of the world as a physical object, and this has become an increasingly important part of studying world history as we look not only in the peoples that interact with one another, but also how people interact with the earth. And in that sense, one of the 5 themes that we cover are human-environment interactions, and a big portion of today's lecture deals with human-environment interactions. So the first migrations we're going to talk about are migrations into Eurasia. These are migrations that go from about 45,000 years ago, and these are migrations initially into Asia, but then also into Europe. One of the things that is particular about these migrations was the development of new hunting tools. Especially as you have people moving south, you have the development of technology like spears, bows and arrows, stone tools to try to develop weapons. You also have the development of these weapons in order to hunt things like reindeer and horses as a way to provide food. Some of these migrations occur where there was an ice age going on, and the cold ice age temperatures moved humans from northern Europe, moved them south, and then they brought new hunting tools with them. You also have the development of cave paintings, and relatively little information, archaeological information, exists for us to study Paleolithic peoples, and some of the earliest existing records of human communication are these cave paintings. The example here is a cave painting from a cave in France that was discovered. And in the picture, you'll see here there are 3 hunters. They're on the top of the picture, and then you have a herd of grazing animals. You also have the hunters using bows and arrows. This is an example of archaeology that supports the argument that Paleolithic peoples had the ability to develop bows and arrows, and that's an example of technology that was useful in hunting. One of the questions that historians have asked is, why do you think the people that painted this made the humans so big compared to the animals? And we don't really know, but a couple of the arguments might be to show human dominance over the animals. It may also emphasize the physical attributes that are necessary for the hunters to become successful. We're not really sure why this painting was created. It could have been made by the hunters to share their expertise and to share their craft with other people in their society. It could be a celebration honoring hunters. It could also be like a manual, like how to go hunting, and this could be a painting for future generations. So cave paintings become important because they provide us some of the earliest information as to the types of technological adaptations that people used to their environment. We also have here on the far right a Venus figurine that was created. This is a statue. It's relatively small. It's like 4.5 inches tall, and it represents a female figure. The fact that it's so small means that this symbol would be easily transportable, right? This is not a 20-foot tall sculpture, which suggests the fact that it could be taken with you when people were migrating. And historians suspect, they're not really sure about the reason for creating this piece of art. The assumption is that this is perhaps either a fertility symbol or a celebration of the role of women in childbearing, the importance of childbearing in a society. The other piece or the other significance of this Venus figurine is it would have taken a lot of time to make this. The fact that someone had time to make this shows potentially how much leisure time was available to people in Paleolithic societies. So the migration into Australia was done a little bit differently. The technological adaptation that you have here are development of boats. And perhaps as far back as 60,000 years ago, you have people going from mainland Southeast Asia to the islands of Indonesia and then to Australia. You also have a concept known to the Aboriginal tribes of Australia as Dreamtime. This is a world outlook that places human activity and knowledge in the continent's natural environment of rocks, rivers, water holes. It has a kind of spiritual element to it and is probably one of the best examples we have of humans adapting the natural environment and telling stories, origins stories, as a way to explain the natural environment. So the migrations that we have not yet covered, the first one are the migrations into the Americas. And this is a migration that occurs from Asia going across a land bridge to Alaska and then south from Canada through North America between 30,000 and 15,000 years ago. And this land bridge was created by colder temperatures and lower sea levels during the Ice Age. So people were able to migrate from Asia, from Siberia in modern-day Russia into Alaska and then moving south. And one of the big examples of technological adaptations that existed was the Clovis point. This is a projectile. It's found all over North America, used by Native Americans to hunt large animals. The fact that there are very similar Clovis points in different areas of North America is evidence that there is cultural diffusion. This information was shared between peoples. There also were large animal extinctions. Historians are unclear as to why these animal extinctions happened. Perhaps it was overhunting, perhaps it was weather, but the Clovis culture ultimately disappeared as the large animals disappeared as well. You also have a significant diversification of lifestyle in the sense that humans adapt to become mobile foragers and hunters, adapting to different parts of climate in the Americas. And then finally, we have migrations into the Pacific, and you have a map here on the right to highlight this. So these migrations are much later, 3,500 years ago to 1,000 years ago, and these are migrations that are purposeful, intentional colonization, not just people following food, but people choosing to go very far distances in order to find new land. You also have some species, such as the moa in New Zealand, many large trees that were overused by settlers, making migration necessary as people tend to deplete resources on one given island, they move on to the next island. And that's an example of some of the technological adaptations that exist in migrations. Hope you had fun watching this. Go team.